Hey, welcome back. It's Food News and Chews Radio, sponsored by Sullivan University. The gang's all here. It's nice. Hey, Jeremy, Sylvia, Norma. We are less than about 24 hours from Super Bowl and about 4 days out from Valentine's Day.
Can you hear me slurping?
Yeah. What are you eating?
I'm doing these cute little jelly bellies that Norma brought in. Rosé. Isn't that romantic? I'm having a love affair with these rosé jelly bellies.
She wants the wine-flavored jelly beans.
I love this.
So in the second half, we're gonna kind of. Norma's a resident chocolate expert. We're gonna talk about chocolate, and there's a lot of candy and chocolate, period. But there is now rosé chocolate.
And,
the rose chocolate.
And let's talk too about strawberries. What, 30,000 of those things? Okay. I want to hear how they're manufactured.
Covered. But first, let's talk about Valentine's Day, because it's just a few days away.
Brief history. It really is an unknown. And it really isn't religious, although people say St. Valentine's. But it sprang from a priest that was murdered, and it was alleged that he would marry these soldiers that weren't allowed to be married, so he became the love guy, right? So that's kind of mostly what the history says is Valentine's Day was created and invented by industries that benefit from Valentine's.
So this is a Hallmark holiday, right?
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
So restaurants, chocolatiers.
Well, everyone's got to wet their beak a little
bit. Diamonds, you know, heart-shaped candy things. But here's a fun fact. In Japan, women give gifts to the men.
That's so much easier.
Yeah.
It is.
Love that.
It probably is easier.
I bet you they don't stop at the gas station at 4 o'clock on Valentine's Day afternoon because they forgot to buy something and get the crappiest teddy bear they can find.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, Chef, I know that you've been working hard. Tell us about the process of putting together a dinner, particularly since it's one that falls on different days every year.
So you asked me about this, and I started thinking, and then I got really complex, and I started going through a lot of foods and aphrodisiacs and how to set the mood, and that's good. That's fine and dandy. We can talk about some of those on, especially the menu I have. But I think when it comes to Valentine's as a chef, or even somebody has a significant other, it's more about intention, because the foods could be aphrodisiacs or heavy or light. You really want to. I think it's about keeping somebody else in mind. So I would concentrate more on the lighting, the music, the table setting for two, the overall atmosphere. Because when it comes to the food, I think you should probably know your lover well enough to know what they like and dislike. And why would you not make something they absolutely love? So that's almost easy, and you should know that. Yeah. And I can give you ideas on certain things.
In case the guys forgot to make reservations.
Put
on your apron, boys.
Let me ask you, what are there any objectively bad foods for Valentine's Day?
I think garlic and onions.
Yeah, no liver and onions. No one wants liver and onions on Valentine's Day.
Right, and it's really the one everybody said, garlic and that's the one. I mean, it's really about smelly stuff, I think, or stuff that's going to cause indigestion or gas or bloating. I mean, I think that's just not something you want to have in the mix, right?
Yeah,
but I think it depends how long you've been married.
Yeah. So
whether or not you want to care for bloater.
We know about your romantic dinner. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to start light.
Okay.
And that's where I think I don't know, as a culture in America, we kind of get it wrong, because Valentine's is one of those occasions. Restaurants are going to give you extravagant, luxurious menus, and it's easy to go after something really, really heavy, something cheese. I would stay away from it, stay on the lighter note of seafood, which is a natural aphrodisiac.
What are some of the things you're going to do?
Well, I think oysters are just a natural thing for Valentine's Day. A nice lump crab cake is a great way to start out, any kind of shrimp cocktail or kind of tuna tartare, a lighter dish like that. Another one that always pops up for Valentine's, I think it's just so well liked, is smoked salmon. That's one that everybody seems to start with, or some kind of brie cheese, or a baked cheese. I think the baked cheese you want to stay away from. It's just a real heavy thing.
That's a chef's advice.
That's a weird way to start a meal, because I feel like that's all I'd want. Just give me bread and cheese and I'm happy.
Me too. I'd be happy with that.
Yourself. Right. As a human being, you're pretty much addicted to cheese and what it does in your body. I mean,
I know.
So you're going to eat it all. I mean, there's no way around it. And then I think This is the area that I think you could. Well, actually, the only dinner where I actually say you should insert a salad. I mean, all the other course dinners I do, I'm like, oh, that's lame. Who wants to put a salad in the middle of this beautiful dinner? But I think that is something that both partners can kind of enjoy and a lot of times split. I find we kind of choke when I'm out to eat with my wife, agreeing on appetizers, but we can always agree to split some kind of salad together.
And what is salad? What is it physiologically that a salad prepares you? Because I guess in Europe you eat the salad after the main course.
There is some of that. Now, I've seen both ways. I don't think there's a right way to do it, but in general, and I've said this on the show before, I eat a lot of salads for breakfast. And I think starting a meal with that is a true appetizer because it does stimulate the palate. It's usually acidic from vinaigrettes and dressings, and it doesn't fill you up. Whereas most of the time, our starters in America are meals.
Well,
tater skins,
right?
I mean, that's
tater skins with cheese on
right.
them.
That's not a great starter because I mean, you're going to have that and then follow it up with an 8-ounce burger. You're
going to go home and take a nap instead of.
But when it comes down to it, I think when in the food, and I'm not trying to cop out, but if you set the mood right and have intention, and you bring home a bag of White Castle in the mood, I think that's going to work.
Right.
I think that's almost enough. If you want to come out to eat, you're going to see luxurious stuff, and I think smoked salmon, oysters, caviar,
and
filet mignon.
These are also
just all kind of things you're going to see. And then
Yeah.
there's always going to be that death by chocolate dessert.
Right.
And then probably something on the white chocolate or fruit note.
Is that why chocolate souffle is so popular for a Valentine's Day dessert? Because it's such a chocolate souffle is very rich, but it's also very light.
Yeah.
That's probably, yes. I think that's probably a good bet. And it's also a pretty special dessert. Like, I think you're going to see a souffle on those specific days because a kitchen's probably going to make enough for one day. Right. It's not something they can keep up with because of the egg white deflation and the work it takes to keep
it's
a souffle
special
going.
Event dessert.
Yeah, and you don't just bake those off. Like, you order a souffle, it goes in the oven at that time.
Anything new on the Valentine's menu, or is it always going to be kind of the same things? I mean, there are trends, and are there things that are happening out there that we need to know? Or are they just sort of like we all, Valentine's Day is the gateway to spring, and that's how it has kind of grown to be. Even in ancient days, it was known as kind of the beginning of lighting. It's going to, at least in our hemisphere. It is weird
that flowers are a big Valentine's Day gift because flowers aren't grown right now.
But they're coming.
But they're coming, right.
They give you that flavor of something that is coming, that is...
So that's a really good question, and unfortunately, I have not seen anything cuisine wise that is different about Valentine's, but the experience is
every year
way out there. Like I said, White Castle, Cracker Barrel,
Waffle House.
There's Waffle House. There's fun like places I don't know. I guess wouldn't typically. Think of as nice to play a date, but that's what's so fun about it.
Right.
This is what's fun about. There's a top 10 romantic places to have Valentine's dinner in the Herald Leader recently, and the 10th one was White Castle.
That's our
and
go-to.
You invented that.
We did. We this is this has been our thing. We got married, and we were the first people White Castle ever did a wedding for.
Love it.
It was right here. I called them out of the blue 16 years ago and said, hey.
You got to get royalties for this.
You know what? I should.
You should.
Did
you have a love cube ever?
So that's the eight pack. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Love cube. And how about a Sprite Love Castle potion?
I'll say the best dessert, they have a cheesecake on a stick, and it is outstanding. It is outstanding.
You would have to have something on a stick.
You have to.
But a lot of the others are getting into the act, like Cracker Barrel.
As you get
competition.
So everyone in this room, most of us have been married for a pretty long time, right? Mm-hmm. So do you find that on Valentine's Day, it's better to have a fun Valentine's Day than a forced romantic? You know what I mean? It's hard to force romance.
So I think maybe it's season of life. Mm-hmm. If you're young and dating without kids, I think you better get your act together and get a reservation.
What if they didn't, Chef? What do you advise these poor guys out there who didn't get a reservation?
So
don't call
number one, guys. I would head to the store. I would call me and get you a little menu and put it together. Something simple, seared scallops and little chocolate cake. But there's some fun things you can get at the grocery now to make things kind of fun, like edible gold flakes.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun to do your desserts.
Edible
and
gold flakes.
Edible
Or
gold.
you can
right?
put that on a Swiss cake roll, and it'll be really fancy.
Yeah, right.
There's also some takeout options apparently that are growing. Maybe a leftover from the pandemic said that takeout for Valentine's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for one, that's something that Dupree Catering can help you out with. We have kind of a multi-course Valentine's dinner you can do. So I mean, those options are out there, guys. There is still hope, but I think after you're listening to this on a Saturday, Valentine's is Tuesday. You probably have to the end of the day,
Right.
and you
go
might want to
get
get to the grocery tomorrow.
and go get a big diamond.
Or,
Right.
honestly, this year, the way it's going, eggs. Eggs might be a really good gift for Valentine's
or
Day.
a hen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you give
egg
someone
laying hen.
diamonds might not last forever, but a dozen eggs is gonna cost you. So think about that.
All
So
right.
what would you if you were gonna cook Valentine's Day dinner at home, and let's just say you're not as accomplished a cook as you are, what's a good safe?
Yeah,
What's
that's a good
yeah,
question.
good safe thing that
What's
people
safe?
can
Not
cook?
Yeah,
steak,
so
right?
easy.
Right.
Like I think the salmon and lox is really a good choice because you don't have to do any cooking. You can lay this out. It's incredibly delicious right out of the package, so to speak. But dress it up with some fun little things. I've been putting my fresh chives and sour cream and folding it into hummus. Which is a really nice way to spread on a crostini to put smoked salmon on.
Oh wow!
And then a little bit of crunchy chickpeas on that, which you can just kind of roast in your air fryer and garnish the dish with. That's one I think most ladies will like because it's health conscious, but super acidic and tasty and flavorful. Then I'd hop into just I think that scallops are very easy to cook. And I would kind of do some pan-seared scallops, just a nice little lemon risotto. And find yourself an aged balsamic from the store, something that has some syrup on it, and there you go. You got a sauce that you don't have to cook as well.
Is that a good
Drizzle that
cheat?
on top.
Is that a nice? We should talk about cheats like that
You
because
know-
they're gold leaf, balsamic. Those are things that seem really fancy, but you can put on almost anything to make them seem
Yeah.
fancy.
They are cheats, but they're
But it's good.
But it's not cheating.
Right.
All right. So French chefs argue with Asian chefs about this all the time, because a French chef would spend 10 or 12 hours on a stock, and then 2 hours on a reduction sauce, and then another half hour warming it up and adding the butter and making sure it goes out at one time. Now all that work for this one sauce, right? Now they make fun of the Asian cooks because they buy a lot of Asian sauce condiments, right? Like oyster sauce and char siu and things like that. And the argument is, oh, you didn't make that yourself and that's a cheat. But, the Asian guys are like, well, we're buying this from somebody that did, and there's 30 hours of work behind this sauce, and there's
Sure.
more complex ingredients, and they're actually nicer than yours. So, I mean, that's kind of the argument to it. Like, they're not cheats. They put a lot of work into the product itself. It just, you get to take advantage
When
of
I
their
say
work.
cheat, I don't mean
That's
that as a
good, yeah.
derogatory.
It is.
I say
Yeah,
cheat.
cheat. I cheat, yeah.
Absolutely.
So I used to take, just fine balsamic vinegar and add a pinch of sugar and do a slow reduction on our flat top for about 4 hours and make balsamic glaze.
Does reduction mean
Right.
it boils down to something?
You just slowly
Oh.
reduce the water out
See
of it.
how
and
dumb
make
I
it-
am?
No, you're not. Make
okay.
it thick. But so now I'd buy balsamic glaze, and people are like, "Oh, chef, you don't make your own." I'm like, I've done it 1,000 times,
But
and I've
this is
tasted both
quality.
results,
And
and
this is
it does not
quality.
hurt my feelings to sit there and watch a part
let-
4
let
hours.
me ask you this
work
question.
smarter, not harder.
What about the fact that this is on Tuesday?
Yeah.
And are you offering at Azure the same? Is it just one night that you're
Yeah, you got
offering?
one night for this menu, guys. It's a one night pop.
Is that
But
typical? Yeah.
if we had a Valentine's weekend, we would typically try to fill up the whole weekend with this
Yeah.
menu. But no, this is a one and
night.
done menu, guys. And then but if you can come to Azure tonight, then we
Then
would
you're
have
still gonna have good
Valentine's
stuff.
beautiful specials. Yeah, we're
Valentine's
always
Day-
going to have a fresh something and a nice critter to cook up for you. Yeah,
Valentine's can be any day if you want it bad enough. Can be any day.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be on the 14th. Now when we come back, other than flowers, the best gift
Yay!
is chocolate. We have a chocolate expert on the show. Norma's going to tell us all about chocolate, all the new stuff, and everything
And
about
save
pairing.
me from these jelly bellies.
Next,
Somebody
don't go
save
anywhere.
me.
It's Food News and Chews Radio. Welcome back. It's Food News and Chews Radio. Off the air, we had a conversation where Sylvia was trying to justify to me how healthy gummy bears are. Because they're made of juice.
If you buy the organic ones and they say they have real fruit juice,
Whatever you need to tell yourself, Sylvia.
and I have some, what is it in Arizona? Waterfront property in Arizona.
Right. So we just want some things to be so true. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
know.
You know
I,
what?
I do
Fruit
have a
juice
sweet
and then
tooth,
jelly
though.
I'm not going to burst your bubble.
I do love sweets.
Yeah.
I can't kick that habit.
Well, because your body loves them.
I'm American, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Of all the bad habits you can have, sweets are not the worst.
But Norma
Yes.
makes me so happy at Valentine's because she always brings in these wonderful goodies. And Norma, I want to know, though, how do they put together 30,000 chocolate-covered strawberries?
Well,
Is that process? What is the process for that?
it's pretty frenetic.
So you got to order.
So
the
you order strawberries from.
Yeah.
We order strawberries from.
Where?
Sometimes they come from Cisco. Sometimes
Because they're big, right?
Oh yeah, they're California. They're California berries, and they're very large. And those come in. They have to all be prepped, washed, and it looks like strawberry
tons
fields
of them? I mean-
in that factory. I mean,
And
they're-
this is in Mount Sterling.
in Mount Sterling.
This
and
is Ruth
everything.
Hunt, right? Yeah.
And everything is washed, and then it has to dry, of course. And then they're ready for, they're sorted, make sure there's no bad one. And then they're ready to dip. And they go through the chocolate process, and they get dipped. And then they're, like, if a chocolate one will have white chocolate stripes, or a white one will have dark chocolate stripes. And they're packaged.
So
I
and
noticed
ready
that
to go.
Kroger's has them, too. So people are getting into this, right?
A lot of the groceries have them now.
but they don't got the chocolate like you guys do.
Yeah, some of them. Certain other places are just doing them special for Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
restaurants and so forth. But yeah, they're
Wonder what strawberries mean for Valentine. I mean, that just seems to be. I
It's
guess
probably
it's
the heart
spring.
and the red
yeah,
shape.
And
I'm not-
spring,
in
yeah.
spring.
And it's kind of a sign of spring. Love makes us happy again.
So
it's
I'm still trying to wrap my head around 30,000 strawberries. So I'm trying to quantify this because we buy them. We're talking
Yeah.
about say 20 to a. I mean, we're talking about like a box truck full of strawberries, guys.
Yeah.
A whole box truck.
Oh yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah, and,
So-
and all this has to happen in like 2 days, basically.
And yeah, and
Yeah.
because they don't have a long shelf life.
no, you got like 5 to 7 days probably on those, and then they're
Exactly.
done.
And then that's interesting. And
So you got to turn them around
and the
quick.
drought in California. I don't know if that's impacting on the strawberry yield. I don't know.
I haven't actually heard. I know that
Last year, I know during the pandemic they had a hard time.
Well,
getting
yeah, the pandemic was a problem. This year, so far, I hadn't heard anything about any problems. I know they're expecting a big delivery.
Jeremy, when you or anyone who knows, when you put like a strawberry in chocolate, does it lessen the lifespan of that strawberry? Not that it ever.
yeah. Does it
the
encase
opposite.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. Does it really? Does it kind of make that
Makes it
strawberry act
mushier?
a little fresher for longer?
It's fresher for longer.
Fresher for longer.
Yeah, you're going to get a little more yield out.
Oh,
or a
because it
little
kind
more.
of.
Yeah, it's like it
encases
seals it up.
Yeah.
Airtight.
Yeah.
Not that it's going to sit around for a while because they're going to get. No one's ever said, "Well, I got too many chocolate covered strawberries; they're going to go to waste."
What did you bring in, Norma?
You know, have you guys seen I think they're like $100 strawberries, as in $100 each.
Dipped in gold or something.
No,
they're
it's
in
a
Japan.
Japanese guy.
Yes, they're in Japan. They're about the size of an apple.
About 7 apple.
Oh,
and he,
no, I
he's
haven't seen
basically
that.
got
Oh,
2
my.
full-time employees on each strawberry, and he
Is
grows
that
these strawberries like manna from heaven, and then he sells them by the each, and they're like $100
Where
per
do you grow
berry.
these mammoths?
He grows them hydroponically or something. I should probably know more about this before I get on the radio about it, but
Oh, that's
check
fine.
it out,
See,
guys.
no,
It's out there, yeah.
And they do.
We'll
they
have to
do
investigate.
honestly. They do the same with melons. They do the same with cantaloupe.
like the
where
superfruits.
Do the superfruits.
Super
They're
fruit, yeah.
Very, very
I
expensive.
wonder if there's flavorful. You know, I always think of things smaller being better instead of gigantic isn't as good.
That's the first thing I asked
Right.
in
Yeah.
my head was, I wonder how they taste.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and then the segment said like they're so sweet and sugary. Like,
Really?
So he's got some kind of
$100
he's
ones.
bred them, or he just knows what to do to get those sugars. Anyway, back.
So
Yeah,
okay,
no,
when it comes to
that's
chocolate, you know a lot about chocolate. We talked in the last year or so that there could be a worldwide chocolate
Yeah,
shortage.
because of a blight or something.
a blight on. So where are we
going
with that
on?
now? How are we looking?
How
on the
worried do
chocolate
we need to
futures?
be?
Well, so chocolate consumption is growing. The global market is 127 billion in US dollars. They're predicting 4.4% growth for the next 5 years annually.
Is this just one of those things where they just try to scare you, or is that it's like coffee?
Well, actually,
you know,
no, because still chocolate is a crop. 60% of the world's chocolate still comes from the Ivory Coast and Ghana, and it's still a small farm product. So it's coming off of family farms, and imagine all the issues that we have with sustainability, good farming practices, etc., and transfer
Yeah.
that to a country where they don't have nearly the resources that we do to cope with it.
can you do it on large farms? I mean, California must have like mega farms for these things, right?
Well,
or
not-
is it a small?
Oh no! Chocolate will only grow about 30 miles north or west of the equator. Generally, the bigger crops of it, and it's an undercover crop, typically. So it grows under another tree or some sort because it
Like a mama.
because it doesn't like direct light. It's very picky about its
So it's the one
conditions.
thing we really can't grow here.
No, we can't. I mean, I have seen 2 cacao trees, and one was in the in Atlanta in their gardens, and one was in California in their gardens. We do not have cacao trees in the United States, so we cannot grow it here. There is some Central and South American crops. They've grown a little bit in Hawaii, but still 60% Ivory Coast.
Is there a quality issue with where it's grown? Is there like a premium chocolate because it came from X?
No, it's like a lot of other crops. Like chocolate from Central and South America is going to have a more acidic bite to it than Ghanaian chocolate or Ivory Coast chocolate, which is much smoother, and that comes from the soil and the weather conditions.
Like
Is it
wine.
same with
Like
coffee?
wine.
Yeah,
Like wine.
kinda
Is it
like
same
wine.
with coffee?
Same
'Cause
with
they-
coffee.
So one of the things I keep seeing ads for online is that they're selling now ground cacao as a coffee substitute, where you brew it just like coffee.
Really?
It's supposed to be, much better for you. Who knows? But it's a
Well, it
really
would have
big thing.
calories, I would think.
Yeah,
or
no
would
calories.
it? Would it have calories? Or does the calories get added with the
No,
milk
the calories
and the butter
get added when they add sugar.
and butter
and the cacao
blah,
and the
Because what
butter,
is the
yeah.
process of making chocolate?
Well,
Is that what you do?
there's a pod that the beans are harvested from. They're laid out on, in most small family farms, banana leaves. They're dried. Then they go through what they call a conching process, which is the grinding of them and separating the butter from the actual hard part of the bean. And then to make the different varieties of chocolate, like a darker chocolate is going to have less butter added back. Lighter chocolate
Sugar,
will
yeah.
have more butter, and a lighter chocolate will have milk there and more sugar. So
Okay.
that's in a real quick nutshell the process. But
It's a tricky thing. There's a lot going on when it
With
comes to
chocolate.
chocolate,
Right.
especially cooking with it. I mean, you really do have to have
Yeah.
some of the basics down. But I can't imagine a world struggling for chocolate or like fighting for chocolate. Somebody out there in southeastern Kentucky with a greenhouse has got to figure this
Figure
out.
it out.
Well, you think about it, there's not a lot of resources.
an app harvest for chocolate.
Yeah.
We can, we can figure out how to get, whatever X pick. But when it comes to chocolate and coffee, those are two things we pretty much need. And I can see world wars starting over the land.
It's the
Chocolate
end of
bars.
Valentine's
That and
Day.
oil,
One, you
right?
can't get-
Oil, gas, and
Coffee,
chocolate.
chocolate, and oil. You're not wrong.
Right, so Valentine's Day would be gone because
Right.
one, you couldn't get it started without the coffee, and you
Yeah,
couldn't
what
finish
do
it
you-
without
you
the
know?
chocolate.
Amen.
Okay.
So what are the new breakthroughs in chocolate? What are we've talked about? I think rosé chocolate or rose chocolate.
Right. Well, there is a rosé chocolate. There's also a ruby chocolate. A ruby chocolate comes from a special ruby bean that's grown in South America. The rosé chocolate is what you would imagine rosé added to chocolate.
Rosé
and
wine?
Yes. And,
Yay.
and that's a big new trend in chocolate. Booze. There's one company which does the rosé called Compartes, And it also has lots of other boozy chocolates.
Do these
isn't
Jelly
just like a
Bellies?
truffle with liquor in it. It's like liquor infused in the chocolate.
Liquor infused in the chocolate.
Do these Jelly Bellies have wine in them?
They have some rosé in them,
No
surprisingly.
wonder I'm feeling better all the time.
yeah.
I'm loving it.
But we've put in Kentucky, we put bourbon and chocolate forever, the traditional bourbon ball, and then of course there's other chocolates now. We put it in a caramel. We put it in a truffle. There's wine country chocolates that infuses chocolate with wine.
And hemp chocolate. Hemp.
And hemp. We have hemp infused chocolate now as well. So
What about savory uses of chocolate for non-dessert dishes? How would you
Yeah.
how would you use
well,
Oh, yeah.
in Central and South America, they do the mole, which is
the sauce, that's
ground
right,
cacao,
that's right.
and it goes the mole sauce contains that. Interesting. Looking into some newer things that they're doing with chocolate. So I got online to see what I could find along the lines of the Mexican chocolate. They're selling Mexican chocolate skulls online. You can dunk those into
Mexican
milk
chocolate
and
what?
skulls and make your hot chocolate.
SKULLSs?
SKULLS. These little.
It's probably like a
candy
play on
skulls.
the Dia de los Muertos, like the Day of
Exactly,
the Dead.
the
They
Day of
probably
the
make
Dead.
it for
Oh, yeah,
kids.
right,
They're
right, right.
probably
That's
like
what
hot
it's
chocolate bombs. You put them in
about.
and they make chocolate. That's
Yeah.
probably fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's fun. They cover. We have the ginger bark, which is candied ginger with chocolate, which is delicious. I also found some other interesting things: chocolate cheese puffs, jalapeno peppers.
Okay.
I found all these
Yeah.
online. The
Okay.
$51 for a pound box of jalapeno peppers covered in chocolate.
Two good things combined.
It works.
You know,
I love it.
bacon dipped in caramel and
you can't
chocolate.
go wrong.
No one-
you
no one
know,
hates that.
and this can be your favorite, Sylvia. I know. Insects, worms and grasshoppers covered in chocolate.
I can't wait for a chocolate covered ant.
Aren't you glad that trend
What'd you
came
bring
and
here
went?
today? Tell us these goodies.
So what I brought today, I was looking for some different
Besides this
Valentine's things
stuff
we
I've
had.
about eaten
So I've
all
got
of
a sweetheart popcorn that's kind of a raspberry chocolate flavored. Y'all.
I mean, it looks bright red, like beautiful Valentine's
I
gift
have
there.
covered Oreo cookies. That's a big one.
And these are
Oh,
these
these
are
are
all
good.
Ruth Hunt right now.
Oh,
You
and
got-
Ruth Hunt. We'll have the strawberries starting the 12th through the 14th at both locations, Mount Sterling.
Are they
and-
reserved already? Can people get
I don't know what flavor.
No, we don't actually do reserve,
just
but
first come, first serve?
but first come first serve, pretty much. Just we have tons of them, so
And
there'll
what
be
are
plenty.
these chocolate cookies?
These are chocolate covered Oreos done for Valentine's
Well,
Day, so
and
they're
that's
fun
sinful.
too.
This is
They're
so
good.
Isn't that good?
This is so good.
Isn't that good?
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and then you got a Hammond's hot chocolate dunking booth.
Oh, now that's fun. Yeah.
Spoon?
So that's kind of like the chocolate bombs that everybody's doing now. It makes hot cocoa. You just pop it
Put
in
it
your
in there, and
and roll it around,
Fun.
and it makes hot cocoa.
and here's a
that's
cute
fun.
little chocolate heart.
Yeah, and lots of molded chocolates, tons of Valentine's boxes. And I've seen other fun things, cookies.
In
and
the candy industry, is this like their number one of the year?
no, actually, Christmas.
Christmas.
Christmas is
Valentine's is second.
You know,
Christmas
this
is-
conversation about what to do for Valentine's, I mean, literally just
Yeah, get
Head
get
to
her.
the-
on. If
head
you
to
forgot,
Ruth
guys,
Hunt.
just
I
go
mean-
get this stuff.
Oh yeah.
what else do you need?
go-
This
We'll
has
get
got-
you. We'll get you
Bundle
out of
up.
the
Get you
doghouse.
set up pretty good.
Me and
Yeah.
Jerry are having an excellent date on the side of the room over here. We're eating chocolate covered popcorn and Oreos.
Oreos.
Honestly, it's been a pretty.
But you're
this is
not
the
getting
best
these
day I've had
jelly.
here.
You're not
Nope.
getting these jelly bellies. I can tell you that right now. I'll guard them with my life.
That's okay. These Oreos are where it's at.
What can't you dip in chocolate?
What can't you dip in chocolate?
I don't think there
question.
is
Oh, you bring
anything,
this to me. I'm your,
unless it's one of those jelly beans that you described on off the air.
Oh.
That was like
Yeah.
yeah, the good
ugly
bad
ones.
jelly bean.
Yeah, the ugly ones.
It's like Russian roulette.
Yeah, the Russian roulette
Yeah.
All right,
jelly beans.
We got about a minute left. I need you to fill, Sylvia, because me and Jeremy are eating chocolate Oreos.
I noticed.
There are a couple events
What about bourbon?
Oh, bourbon?
Yeah,
Oh.
you want to talk about events, or do you want to talk
Well,
about bourbon? This is an interesting contest.
I'll put the events, the boozy events coming up. I'll put those on our
Nice.
Facebook page, and with bourbon,
Yeah, bourbon called balls.
we got bourbon balls. There's bourbon caramels.
Uh-huh.
There's I've been trying, and I'll get in trouble for saying this. We'll say it anyway. I've been trying to get Larry to do bourbon cream candy.
Well, that's
I think that's a good idea.
Does
for
that
Larry.
sound good?
Yeah.
And then you coat that in chocolate.
Yeah,
I'm
and then
calling
dip
them
it
a
in
Blue
chocolate,
Saturday.
'cause-
maybe he'll make you make it like that one guy we saw that day we were at the factory.
Right.
I forget, Billy Bob or something. what his
Exactly.
name was.
You check out Ruth
Yeah.
Hunt Candy and check out Food News and Chews of the podcast. If you missed any of it, it's going to be up in right now. And I'm on a chocolate high. So
Yeah.
we wish
And I'm on
everybody
a jelly
happy
bean
Valentine's
high.
Day.
All right.
We're going to eat the rest of this candy. Thank you for listening to Food News and Chews Radio.
Thank you.